This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hello, bright soul. Thank you so much for joining me on another podcast. I am just overflowing with gratitude. So happy I'm here. So happy you're here. So happy that we can come together in such a weird time on the planet, which I've been saying for the last at least 2 years, but we're still in it and we're getting through it together. And I wanted to talk about the soul purpose of pain today on today's podcast. And if this topic doesn't resonate with you, please just let it wash over you, move on, find something that resonates. But I want to share with you my experience with this over the years. And it could be physical pain, but I'm mainly talking about challenges, strong, trying challenges. I'm talking about those events that yank the rug out from underneath you to where you really have to search for something deep within in order to gain the strength to move forward. I've had so much of that in this lifetime. And one of the things, years ago, I used to attend a church, and one of the things, I was going through a really painful divorce at that time when, I just found out about all of the betrayal and all this just craziness going on. I had a small baby. I had lost my brother suddenly, my second brother. And, I felt so victimized in that moment, like not victimized from, oh, woe is me, but more or less like, what did I sign up for? I mean, what is this all at once? I mean, and that's just one of many. I mean, that's actually probably one of the most minor times in my life. But I remember going to church and the preacher was saying that a lot of times what you're experiencing has nothing to do with you. What it has to do is spirit, higher self, creator, God, whatever you want to call it, is giving you the blueprint and the tools so that you can then be a blessing and hold someone else's hand while they go through it. So it's almost as though your trying time, whatever it is, whatever struggle, whatever suffering, whatever it is that you're going through or what you've gone through, you can find a way to learn how to go through it, find a way to go through it, and then you essentially are lighting the path for someone else. Now, when you're in it, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that at all. I mean, at least I didn't. I was thinking, I've had it. It's been one thing after the other since I freaking came onto this planet. I don't know why, now my awareness goes, well, I guess I just decided to clear all the karma for me and my whole family and all generations to come right in this one lifetime. You have those moments where it's like, okay, enough already. I've had it. No more. It's really funny because I have a really close family member that'll say, I think I got my share of stuff and someone else's. And so again, that is our human experience. That's what we're going through, and it's okay to acknowledge that. But I wanted to offer to you that oftentimes the pain does have a purpose, and that purpose can be a guide so that you can learn how to nurture yourself and get yourself through something. And then lo and behold, and this happened to me. I remember listening to that preacher talk about, stop dwelling on things and feeling sorry for yourself. It's not even about you. A lot of times you go through things has nothing to do with you. It is because you came into this world a bright light. You came in whether you wanted to now. I mean, you did before you got here, but you're here now and you forget that you came to be a blessing and show other people the way. And so in order to do that, you've got to go through some things. That's how we grow. And I remember it was maybe about 6 months later, I had a close friend who found out she just had a baby, and she found out that her husband was, not loyal and just not who she thought he was. And she was absolutely crumbled. I had just walked through this. I mean, I had all kinds of other stuff with deaths and added on to mine. So I was a strong pillar for her. And I could tell her, listen to me, listen to what I have going on. And I'm sharing this with you because if I can get through all this by myself with all that I've got going on, you can do it too. And it was such an inspiration and a hope for her. And that's what we came here to be. We are lighthouses. We are an inspiration and hope for other people, but we're also that for one another. So the other thing is to think about times when you've been down and out, or you're struggling with something. Maybe there's something health-wise or some kind of challenge you're trying to get through. And someone has been through that and they reach out and say, I've had that too. And here's how I got over it. And you're like, oh my gosh, thank you. You just saved me so much time. I feel so validated. That's what we're here to do. And all of these experiences that we're having, it helps us to grow. Now, I know that there are probably times when something has happened and you didn't grow in that moment because you still had to process it and it took you time to process it and you had to move through it. That's also part of your journey of how you were getting through something that you suffered through. So there's an author, her name is Liz Roberta, and she says, she'll ask the question, she does like journaling questions and things like that. But she was just asking, where have you suffered enough to know how to help others? Because those are really lighthouses for people. You can turn your pain into a blessing. Now, I'm not saying when we've had terrible things happen, I have myself where people have victimized you, done the wrong things to you, very traumatic, done you dirty. I've had it all. I really have. And I know for as much as I've had, there's millions of people that have had it 1,000 times worse than me and people who haven't had it. But guess what? My sincere belief is that we've lived several lifetimes and we come here, we reincarnate for the experience, for the lessons, to help one another. And so comparing, really, there's no point other than if I'm using that person as an inspiration to give me inspiration and hope for the fact that I can make it too. Other than that, there's no use in doing that. So I only bring that up to say that there is a way to use it to propel you forward on your spiritual path. And these great challenges are what lead others toward greatness. A person that never has to go through anything, there's no roots there. You know, think about how a little baby tree, if you ever had to replace a tree in your yard or you see these tiny little baby trees, you know, whenever the gardener plants them, they have to put sticks on each side because they aren't reinforced and they could easily just get yanked up. You know, their roots can get yanked up and get yanked out of the ground because they're just not established yet. But what do? They sit there and they've got some support, and it's kind of like when we're babies. You know, all of us didn't have just the best upbringing, but just follow me here. What do? They grow those roots through wind and rain and elements and snow and harsh conditions. And then those roots go deep into the earth, and then they're established. Now you see the wind and the snow. I mean, golly, I've watched windstorms and snowstorms blow these trees in my backyard, and they barely move, and they make it, and they're strong, and they've been here for hundreds of years, way before I was here. And that's inspiring to me. And it wouldn't be there if it didn't go through all of those changes and seasons, and we're the same way. We're no different. And although I'm sorry that bad things have happened, I really am. I'm sorry that you've been through trauma, and I'm not invalidating it in any way. I want to make sure that that's clear, because some people who are not ready to hear this message will get very upset and start arguing for their limitations. That's not the platform here. The platform here is just to simply share with you what I've personally done to shift myself out of the pain into how can I transform this into a vessel of service for the highest good? How can I bring light to this so that I can prevent and alleviate the suffering of others? Yeah, they're going to have to go through it. You know, I can share the information. It's no different than, you know, I can't eat food for someone else. You've got to eat it, but I can actually show you how to prepare it and show you what works well or what has worked well based on all of my failures or successes. You know, it's the same thing. You get my point. Geez, my examples are just kind of pitiful today. But you get my point. And I hope that you can hear my sincerity and feel the energy. Just bring it back. Pain is a guide. Trauma can be a teacher. Can be a teacher to say, wow, how can I take really good care of myself? What is it that I needed in that moment that I can now give to someone else? What is the thing that I needed to hear that I can say to someone else to help them through this? And once you bring it to that element and the vibration has lifted on that, you'll see that people will start showing up and they need what you have to offer. And you have all of the power and the strength behind how you overcame that to give to someone else. And that's a gift. And you get really good karmic benefits from that. I mean, it's a karmic gift. That is part of you using your gifts in the world. When people say, well, I can't do this or I can't do that, everybody's got something to give. Everybody has something to give. Even if it's a kind word, a kind gesture. The benefit of just sharing your experience in an inspiring way and saying, my gosh, I did it, you can do it too. You have something in you that the world needs. And the reason I know that is because you're here. And so we all have that. So that is just my inspirational thought for today, sharing from my experience, and we'll go into a healing. So can you just uncross your arms and legs and focus on your breathing? I'm going to bring in the violet flame for this healing and just ask the violet flame to go in and dissolve any blocks or obstacles. Ask the violet flame to then come in and soothe and heal any parts of you that need healing. Just focus on your breathing if you can. It will help the energy absorb quicker. It'll also help you to release those things that you do not need to continue to carry. Okay, I'm just grounding you. Run in some shields. Okay, and so it is. All right, lighthouses, that is all I have for today. If you haven't left me a review on iTunes, I would so appreciate it. And I just wish you a beautiful week. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.